There we go. Welcome. What's up, y'all? To another episode of City, State, and True to Yourself. I'm your host, Tex Wambui, and today we have a special guest with us. And without further ado, I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
Hi everyone. My name is Evelyn Andrea. I'm a young Mozambican engineer that's passionate about youth empowerment, women empowerment, and all of that good stuff. And I'm honored to be here today with you all. Thank you for inviting me, Tex.
You're most welcome, Evelyn. Just for everybody listening, this is probably future president of Mozambique right here.
Oh, come on. No way.
And just letting y'all know, y'all heard from her here first. So Evelyn, it's a pleasure to have you join. That I would really love to have you on here in terms of what to share you have. And first, I would like to give credit to you that you were a Mandela Fellow, right? That's how we ended
Yeah.
up. That's how we ended up connecting.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Can you talk about what that is and how that experience was?
Oh, whoa. Yeah, of course. So, I was a Mandela Washington Fellow for this year. The Mandela Washington Fellowship is a program of the Department of State that started, I think, over 10 years ago. It was an initiative started by President Obama to empower young African leaders in the continent. So every year, about 700 young African leaders in the tracks of public management, civic engagement, and business are chosen to go to the United States to participate in this fellowship that takes, let's say, 45 days. So during that period, the 700 fellows are divided in different universities across the US. I think each host institution gets to receive 25 fellows, and during the course of that period, we learned a lot of things related to our field of work, and things that were unrelated but that were still valuable. So we gained a bunch of new skills, but what we had in common, irrespective of the institute we were studying at, was our common leadership curriculum that was designed to improve or to develop leadership skills in each one of us. Yeah, I think that's where I met Tex. I was placed at the University of California, Davis, and yeah, that's how we ended up connecting per se. And yeah, in the last week of the fellowship, all of the fellows traveled to DC, where the Mandela Washington Fellowship. Uh, how do I say, the Mandela Washington, conference happens. Yeah, for about 4 or 5 days, and yeah, that's how we round up the program. But then our work doesn't stop there, because we continue working in our different fields as we go back home, and we continue doing that now with the support of the Mandela Washington Fellowship of the YALI, which means the Young African Leaders Initiative. Yeah, and yeah, that's how we carry on. We keep inspiring ourselves. We keep, striving to build a better future for all Africans. I hope I didn't speak a lot. I'm sorry,
That's
Tex.
it's perfect. You keep talking as much. That's fascinating. It's clear that your journey has been shaped by very unique experiences, and it was a pleasure connecting at the Mandela Fellows in University of California, Davis. And funny enough, how we ended up getting to meet. I got to meet other fellows too as well, and hanging out outside of just the regular program stuff. So that was pretty awesome. Now, let's kind of dive into some fun questions first before we kind of get into the nitty gritty of things. So
Mm,
Evelyn, if you could
yes,
if
but
you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
whoa, that's a tough one. I have to choose only one.
Let's say you can choose five.
Ooh, whoa. Okay, okay. Uh, I'll have to start with Nelson Mandela. I have to start with Nelson Mandela because, well, he's such a remarkable figure. But as we all know, like not many of our leaders, not many of us would, give up, you know, 27 years of our lives, you know, to a cause that we believe in, you know,
Yes.
like the amount of, you know, resilience, of selflessness, of love that one has to have to do that type of sacrifice is amazing, you know. Um, yeah, if I would have to be Nelson Mandela, the first person. Well, the second one, I would say um, Samora Machel. Samora Machel was the first president of Mozambique. Uh, Funny enough, he was the first husband of Graça Machel that later on married Nelson Mandela, right? When she became a widow, and she became a widow, then Nelson Mandela married her. But she was our first lady, the first lady of Mozambique. Samora Machel, why? Because I think uh, when we look at the history of Mozambique, you know, after his demise, we have had some presidents that didn't do really well, and in the eyes of the public, uh, and he had a lot of, how can I say, I'm not saying he was a perfect man. People have different views about him, but one thing that I can see and I can tell by the way he used to speak, the things he used to say, and the actions he used to take, is that he really loved my country and he really loved my people and he wanted the best for the Mozambicans. He was not a selfish leader. He was totally against corruption. He didn't condone corruption. If he had to fire his whole cabinet, he would. If he had to reshuffle, he would. As long as he finds out that you are corrupt, you are out of the government. And nowadays, you don't have that anymore. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the third person that I would love to have dinner with would have to be Chimamanda.
Mm.
Yeah, Chimamanda. Yeah, yeah. Because, she's such a remarkable woman,
Mm-hmm.
and, like the wisdom that emanates from her, and the way that she's able to use her talent, her gift to change narratives and to take us on these trips that she does with her books, with the stories that she tells, a boldness, a confidence, all of those things as a young woman, those are things that I look up to, not only as a young woman, like as a young black girl. You know what I mean? I think those are values and things that we aspire to be, to have, and to be when you grow up. Like, representation is very important, and I think she's doing a great job. For us, black girls, and then for the world in general. Well, that's the third. Should I keep going, or
Yeah,
we are
keep
good to
going. This
go?
is a great. This is a great list.
Okay. So now let's see the fourth person. Ooh, that woman. I don't know if you know her. I don't know if you've heard about her, but her name is Ibukun Awoshika. She's a Nigerian, businesswoman. I think she was the first woman to be named the managing director of the National Bank of Nigeria, of the First National Bank of Nigeria. And well, I came across her, I think on YouTube or something like that. But then I read one of her books as well, and you know, she's a woman that has had a very significant impact, you know, in the community, in her community, but also globally. I say this because she has sat on the board of different multinational companies. She has received awards, but most importantly, she is someone who strives to empower young women. Not only in Nigeria, but all over the world. So that's also someone that really inspires me. And I think she's in her 60s now, but she keeps going. She keeps, I don't know, serving. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about looks, but I'm talking about someone that is wise, and she's wise and she's caring and she loves to share what she has with others, her wisdom, her resources. She's a very loving human being, So, and also she's God fearing. So, the perfect combination. Um, well, the fifth person. Well, the fifth person. Let's see. Let's see. The fifth person. Who would that be? Oh, yes. Dr. Martin Luther King. Yes, 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 yes. Dr. Martin Luther King. Well, we all know he's an icon. He needs no introduction, and that's someone that I've loved to meet. I would have loved to meet actually. Actually, I participate on the Cocktail Youth Leadership Program, and his son uh, is actually on the board of the program. So I remember on my first assignment on the Cocktail program, we had to watch some videos, and Dr. Martin Luther King the third was there. He sits on the board of the program, and I was invited actually to go to Atlanta in July to participate in the conference. But I had to decline the offer because I chose to attend Mandela. However, I continue, participating in the program, and that's someone that I would love to meet, not only because of the impact that he had, but also because of his legacy. And it was evident from those videos that I watched that Dr. Martin Luther King III is definitely carrying on the legacy. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
because sometimes you have leaders that are remarkable themselves, but I won't say they fail, but then there's a gap that's created when it comes to their next generation. Not everyone is capable of leaving a long lasting legacy like that. Not only to the general public, but teaching your own the principles that you live for. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that he accomplished that. He did it big time, and it's obvious not only from Martin Luther King the third, but also from his own sisters, like Dr. Yolanda King, Dr. Bernice King. Those are people that live lives. They live lives that also had a lot of impact. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Great choices, and I definitely would love to be part of that table as well, so I can join in and engage with all the wisdom that you just shared, as well as the wisdom that will be from that dinner. That is a great starting five, Evelyn. Wow. Okay. So, and it's always interesting to kind of imagine those hypothetical conversations, in terms of who you would have on your table. Like for me, I actually don't know. I it would be I would need more than five, You know,
Mm.
I need more than five. There's just too many. So I can't even like. First, I don't even know who I would have.
Yeah.
That's a really hard question for me to even think about. But it's always just interesting to think about those things. So now let's kind of circle back to your journey and kind of who you are. So can you share one of your biggest accomplishments in life and the challenges you faced while achieving it?
Wow, wow, wow. That's the hard part. Talking about yourself. It's easy to talk about someone else.
You are on the Stay in True to Yourself
Ooh.
podcast. This is all about you, Evelyn. Come on
Oh
now.
my. you know, this is very funny because I was asked like some days ago to do my biography and to submit it to the Cactial, board. We're supposed to have a meeting to recognize regional coordinators, and I'm one of the regional coordinators for this year. And everybody was like, "We have to talk about ourselves. That's tough." Um, well, because for me, mm, Evelyn, it's like writing about myself. Wow. It's easy to talk about every other thing, like honestly. And I was like, I spent the weekend. I was like, what am I gonna say? What would I write? Which accomplishments? Because sometimes we end up how do I say, not uh recognizing our own accolades, our own accomplishments, or sometimes we might even be tricked into thinking too little of ourselves. You know what I mean? I know people that, especially during Mandela, I met people that are my age or younger than me, and are doing amazing things.
Right, right,
You meet,
right.
you know what I mean. Like you
Yeah.
meet people,
You're
you thought
like,
you're doing
what?
something, and you're, what do you mean? How old are you for real? You're
Right.
doing all of this. You're like, I've not started. And I was so inspired. I was so inspired by some of these brilliant minds that I came across. I was ignited to do more. And at the same time, I was like, hmm, I think I need to realign some things here and there. You know what I mean? I think I can do better here and there. But, Evelyn, well, as I said in the beginning, Evelyn is a young Mozambican woman
Hmm.
that is really passionate about leadership, about youth empowerment, women empowerment. Um, Well, because I come from a country that has had its own share of hardships, and it still has, but a lot of it connected to its leadership. Like I grew up, I would say, questioning a lot of things, especially when it came to leadership, because I saw people suffering. I saw my country being hit by natural disasters, year after year. So I remember asking my parents, why is it that, we can't do better here? Why is it that we can't do better there? Why is it we know that, cyclones are coming, floods, whatnot, every year when it's raining season, people die, people suffer. You know what I mean? Why can't we just build better roads? Why can't we have better infrastructure? Why can't we do better for our own selves? And I think that's one of the reasons why, I wanted to be an engineer, and I ended up going to the civil engineering field because I wanted to build resilient infrastructure. I wanted to build, infrastructure that, is capable of withstanding the effects of these natural hazards. But most importantly, the core of it all was making sure that my people are safe. Was making sure that we don't keep losing people to these natural disasters that come year after year and after year. Uh, and yeah, that's how I think I ended up, studying civil engineering, and it didn't come without these hardships on its own because I didn't study in Mozambique. I got a scholarship. I went to study in India, and that was a
Woo!
whole different culture, different story.
Those Indian the trains. I know those trains that they have in India.
Oh
One of the
God.
one of the busiest in the world. I know that for sure.
Oh, come on. I can even see the picture, that picture of the trains and people on top of them.
Oh
But
man,
yeah, I can see the picture. But yeah, I went to a completely different country with a different culture, different language. Okay, except for the English, because my classes were in English, yeah. But in Mozambique, we speak Portuguese. So although I was already, fluent in English when I went to India, the accent is totally different. In the first days, in the first days, I couldn't get a thing my professors were saying. I was like, maybe I don't know how to speak English. You know what I mean? Because I was not used to the Indian accent, and sometimes people don't actually speak English; they would only speak Hindi or Marathi, and the communication barrier was definitely there. And even in class, sometimes the professors wouldn't speak English and they would speak Marathi. And sometimes they were actually, how can I say, some of the professors were hesitant or afraid of speaking English, though they knew how to do it, but they were not confident because sometimes when you speak English and you are in front of someone that you consider native speaker, even if that person is not, you end up being intimidated because you're afraid of making mistakes here and there, so you just shy away from it. So I struggled a bit in that sense, but I was able to overcome, the homelessness and things of that sort. Like, it's just like, sorry, not homelessness. Oh my god, I want to say homesickness. You know what I mean?
I was
When you say that,
for a minute there,
I
Evelyn. I
was
was like,
like,
what are you saying? Was it
what do
that
you
bad
think?
in India? Because what you
It's
told me, it was a
not
great experience.
exactly. You know what I mean? It's that when you're not speaking your language, just like now, I'm not speaking my language. I'm just, you look for the words and yeah. So that was it. Homesickness, yeah, the food. Anyways, but I made great connections.
You can never go wrong with the Indian food, though.
Really, Tex?
I don't think you can ever
Okay,
go wrong with Indian
Tex,
food. Come on
Tex,
now,
please,
we've already
Tex,
debated on this. Indian food is
Tex,
one of the
please.
top tier foods in the world.
No, Tex, please. We had a conversation about this, and the thing is, I told you, I'm not into spices. I'm not into hot.
That's where
You
the
are
disagreements come in.
your Kenyan, yes, your Kenyan heritage will save you on this. Yeah, your Kenyan heritage will save you on this. Like I'm from the south, I'm from down, down, down south. I'm from Mozambique, bro, and we don't
But you're
eat.
still on the Indian Ocean, so I don't understand how
And,
you on the
and
Indian
so
Ocean and you
and
cannot handle
so, what do
spice.
you mean? What do you mean? I'm an
Ah,
exception. It's not even like I'm an exception.
you're
In
an
Mozambique, we
outlier.
don't
You're
eat.
the outlier in statistics.
No. No, Tex, come on. You gotta give in on this one because you know I had this conversation. I've had this conversation with a lot of people, and I think in West Africa, maybe even some Central African countries, you eat much more like spice than we do in Mozambique. You know what I mean? In
Yeah,
my country.
you know what
Mm.
I blame it. It's the Portuguese. I don't really know much
Okay,
about
granted.
Portuguese. I don't really know much about Portuguese food, but it sounds like they don't have enough spice and flavor in
Yeah,
food.
that's true. Yeah, granted, fine. But still, I think before I went, my mom was even concerned. She was like, if it was your brother going, I wouldn't be bothered. But you, because my brother can actually tolerate spice more than I do. I think my family in general. I'm just the weird one, the black
I
sheep.
think I'm the same thing. I'm the same thing, but for me, I think it's only me and my mom that can tolerate spice. Everybody else,
Mm.
it's too spicy or it's too no. Come on now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's it. But overall, like, yeah, that's it. It was a great journey. I managed to finish my course and yeah, I went back home, got a job, started working, mostly in rural areas, and yeah, I was working with like water and sanitation, water
Hmm.
sanitation and hygiene, so building, you know water supply systems, and also let's say sanitation blocks in schools in rural communities that didn't have the type of infrastructure that is really crucial, especially for girls. Sometimes we talk about period poverty. We have to build. It's very like being a woman. Sometimes schools are very far in rural areas from where people stay, and in that time of the month, sometimes it's hard, for girls to, manage their menstruation if the school doesn't have a proper sanitation block. you know so there are a lot of NGOs and a lot of projects that are actually building this type of infrastructure in rural areas. So that's one of the parts I was working with as well. And yeah, until a few months ago when I resigned because I got a scholarship to do my master's in Italy, and that's where
Woohoo!
I'm
Yeah,
currently
let's
based.
first of all, let's Evelyn, that is beautiful. I remember you telling me about that, how you really are trying to get the whole thing to move to Italy and going. And I just want to give you your flowers and congratulations. And for
Thank
everybody
you.
out there, go give her a shout out. Go
Thank you.
give her all the blessings she needs because she's in Italy. That's a whole different place. And Italy is amazing, by the way. So I'll be coming out there to visit you soon. So.
Oh, I'll be waiting. Gonna turn up in Italy like we did in Elk Grove.
Ah!
No,
That's
but that's
awesome.
it. So
That's
yeah, but
awesome.
thank you, Tech. Thank you for your support as well. It really means a lot. And for people who don't actually know, well, Tech is such an incredible human being. Sometimes
Oh, stop,
I think
stop.
I
Don't
never
make me
told
tear
you
up. Don't make
this.
me tear up right now. Oh, come on now.
For real, like text is that friend that you are blessed, and you sometimes you wonder like, wow, I really hit the jackpot with this one. Because sometimes in days that you might be feeling down, you just hold your phone, you see a message from text there saying, don't worry, you're gonna make it. Sometimes he just does it, without even knowing that you're in the midst of a situation or of a thing, but it's really kind, it's really supportive. And he's the type of friend that comes into your life in a short period of time, changes a lot of things, and I'm really grateful to have met you. One of the best things that happened in my life, especially during Mandela, where you get to meet all of these wonderful, smart people, who are really doing it. Like Tex is inspirational in himself. Talk about being an author, talk about being a lecturer, talk about being a podcaster, you name it. Talk about doing business. You're really going after it. You're really, doing a great job. And yeah, I'm glad to have met you.
Oh, thank you, Evelyn. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
stop.
Thank you so much. But this is about you here. This is about you. So I just want to say your accomplishments are truly inspiring. And I aspire to be on the same level as you at sometimes, and it's really motivating. And I really just wanted to let that you're an inspiration not just to me and to everybody else around you and to the world. And like I said, guys, to the people listening out there, don't be surprised if you hear President Andrea.
You know what I mean? What I mean when I say text, you just hype you up. This is what I mean. That trend is text.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's shift gears here a bit. So tell me about and share this if you whatever you feel comfortable sharing. What makes you different from anyone else, and are there like unique qualities or perspectives that make you stand out?
Okay, bringing on tough questions about
Hey,
myself.
you are on the Stay and True to Yourself podcast. That is a goal. It's about sharing
Okay.
who you are.
Well, I don't know if this are unique to everybody else, or to myself. I don't know, but I'm very focused. I'm a very focused person. Like, I set goals, and I work tirelessly until I achieve them. My vision board for this year, I totally checked everything there was on it, and it was
Woo!
not
That's what I'm talking
like
about.
coming to one text, like coming to Italy was like not necessarily Italy, but doing my masters like abroad was the last thing on my vision board. And honestly, I got the email around August. On my last day, actually, I was leaving DC. I was leaving the hotel to go to the airport, and I saw the email saying congratulations. I couldn't believe it. Believe me, like I couldn't believe it because the academic year starts in September normally in Europe, and it's mid-August, and now you're emailing me saying congratulations. I'm like, what? There was a complete shift. You know what I mean? I went
Yeah.
back, like having to sort out, my trip, get the visa, get the funding, all of those things. And
I told you it was gonna happen. You didn't. I'm telling you. You,
text because
you brought it into
sometimes
manifestation. That's what you did. You brought it into
you
manifestation.
yeah, and when I said to myself, I look at my vision board, that was the last thing. And then it came to pass. It happened. Of course, it wasn't without disappointments here and there. I applied in many places, didn't get, sometimes I got the admission, I didn't get the scholarship, but I kept going. I kept applying. I saw an opportunity for this one, for Italy in particular. I saw it, I think, 2 days before the deadline. It just appeared like that. I was like, okay, why not? Let me just try. I won't lose anything. So I did it and I got it. You know what I mean? And sometimes we just don't know how good we are because we don't try certain things. I've seen opportunities that people could have gotten, but they were too shy or they just didn't believe in themselves. And one thing about me, I've learned to believe in myself. I've learned to believe in my potential and to invest in myself, in my potential. Because no matter who doesn't believe in you, who doesn't support you, you have to be the first one to support yourself. And that's also a thing about me. I'm gonna support myself. No matter what it takes, I'm gonna be there for myself. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's great for you to have a nice community, people that are gonna cheer you on, but not all of us have that. Let's be true to ourselves. Not all of us come from less conducive environments. You know what I mean? But the
Yeah.
fact that you don't have that, or you don't come from a family that supports you 100%, doesn't mean or doesn't exempt you from the responsibility of making your dreams come true, because those are your dreams. And um, that's Evelyn. That Evelyn is someone that goes after her goals and goes after her dreams.
Wow.
The things that I desired as a little girl, that I wanted. I've always wanted to travel the world. You know what I mean?
Which you
For a
will,
bank
and you
account.
keep doing it.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
You
but
look at
as
that
you
bank
grow
account
up,
sometimes, you're like, "Oh,
it's like
can I do this
what?
really?"
Exactly. You know what I mean? But like here am I. With the bank account, without the bank account, it will come. It will come. But your girl was in France 2 weeks ago. So you know what I mean? Without the bank account, I was in Paris and I was moving around. I was like, girl, you came here. It was not even, and that trip was not even like planned like that. It was a
Yeah.
last minute thing. And then I found myself there, and when I was looking around, I was like, whoa. When I was little, I desired these things. I wish I could do these things. And I'm here doing these things. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm here. That this is me. You know what I mean? So there's no like impossibility. As long as you have faith. Of course, a core part of me is my faith. I'm a Christian. It's my faith in God, and that's one of the things that keeps me grounded. If not the main thing. So yeah, that's Evelyn. Evelyn is a believer. Believer in God, believer in herself. And yeah, as long as you put your mind to something, you can achieve it. That's what I tell myself. Period.
Awesome, Evelyn. And those unique qualities certainly make you stand out. And actually, I would also like to add another one that you. It's funny because when you had told me you're going to Italy, I remembered how you used to say that I turned you into a walker. And so I would like to also give you that attribute that you are now an official walker. You know how to walk and walk up them hills and everything. And I'm definitely say I'm glad I was able to expose you to the art of walking to places. So that's
Stop it.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So now, if you could like instantly master like any skill, what would it be?
Oh, listening. Listening more
Oh,
and speaking
listening.
less.
Okay.
Hey, definitely.
I'm glad you're being introspective and self-reflecting here because definitely I agree. You can definitely improve on listening.
The shade. Why you
I
guys
know
sensing
I'm not.
shade?
This is not shade. This is just feedback for improvement. Okay.
But I'm the one who came to this conclusion by myself. You know what I mean? And I've been actually working on it. Like in the past month, I've been trying. I'm like, no, like I need to listen more. I'm trying to, be more present when I'm with people, be more attentive, and just listen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, the shade still. I keep my remark, anyways. But I
That
want to
was
listen to you, though.
that was
I
I
want to
wasn't I didn't
listen.
I wasn't I was not complaining. I was just letting you know
Putting it
that
out there,
I
just
was just
putting
letting
it
you
out
know
there.
that is a good thing. I was letting you know that's a good thing you have identified in terms of your self improvement that you feel like you can master, which is a great tool because nobody wants to have somebody around them that does not listen, and I think that's actually one of my greatest skills is listening, but then
Mm.
sometimes is responding might be a little bit slower than usual. But my listening is very fast, very it's very there. So great job, Evelyn. No
Thank
no
you.
shade thrown though. Anyways,
Okay.
and I'm really sure you'd excel at that and mastering that, especially now you're in Italy and you're around different language, different culture. Of course, you have to pay attention to detail. Of course, you have to be able to be aware of what's going around you. So I think you're in a good space and environment where you can really master and improve on this skill, which would definitely be important, to just you as a student, either as a professional or whatever you're doing. It would definitely be something that will come in handy in all sorts of forms. So
Yeah.
now, Evelyn, we have talked about what you have done, what you are good at, what inspires you. So now I want to know, tell this to the world. Are there any works, publications, or projects you're particularly proud of? And how can people see them or access them? And how have these work or projects impacted your personal or professional journey?
Oh, yeah. One thing that I'm a part of is the Cactil, as I mentioned, youth leadership program that I'm a part of, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud to be a part of this program because I think that's mainly where let's say, my leadership journey started. Like I got exposure to different people from different backgrounds. Of course, the program is based in the US, but has participants from all over the world, from developing countries. And I joined the Cattle Initiative in 2021. 2021, and yeah, it's been a great journey so far. I'm now one of the regional coordinators, and after participating in the program for over a year, I was selected to participate in the Cactus conference that happens in Atlanta. And yeah,
ATL, woo woo.
yeah, I would have been in ATL. You know what I mean? But I had to pass on that one because I was gonna go to Davis. So I think either way, maybe I would have met you. If I had not met you in California, I would have met you in ATL. Perhaps we never know. But I imagine. But now that I get to give back because a lot was poured into me as a participant. Uh, and now, as I serve on the Cactial, program, I'm able to guide other young people just like me through the program, through the assignments, through the events. I'm able to just be there for them to answer the questions they might have, and I learn a lot from them. From their culture, from their experiences, from their own journeys into leadership. And yeah, that's something that I'm definitely proud of. Yeah, apart from it, I've had like a MASH project that I told you about. That now that I came to Italy, I had to press hold on it per se, but it's mainly the idea was to mainly mentor young women that wanted to work in the water and sanitation infrastructure sector back home in Mozambique now, and give like a platform for them to start their careers, because sometimes it can be hard, as a woman still, at least back home, to start a career in the STEM field if you don't have the right guidance, the right mentors, and the right network. So I wanted to start a program that kind of help women kickstart their careers in my field. So yeah, I, I had to put it on hold, but hopefully I'll be able to, you know, restart the Amash project when I return. So yeah, I think that's it basically.
Okay. It's really just fantastic to hear about your projects and what you've done and how they all align. So now, looking at the bigger picture, can you describe how your understanding of the essence of your own existence has influenced your approach to life or decision making?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm a strong believer that we all have a role to play. You know, in society, in creating, a better future, the world we wish we could live in, or our kids could live in, So I know, and I'm very conscious that whatever I have and whatever I do uh, has the ability to affect not only myself but people around me. you know like the other day, like I received a text from a young lady, and she was telling me like, we don't know each other, but you inspire me a lot. And I was like, excuse me. What do you mean? You know what I mean? And she was like, yeah, you inspire. Sometimes you do things and you think nobody's watching,
Yeah,
right? But
exactly.
people are watching. People
Mm-hmm.
that are, are not even part of your circle, they're watching your steps. Sometimes it's just like people don't say anything. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
just observe you from afar. But then that young lady came in my DMs and was like, have we met before? I said, no, no, we have not met. But sometimes with the publicity that comes with all of these programs you're part of, people are definitely looking at you. They're seeing, the things you're doing, how you're doing them. And yeah, I'm conscious of it. So, I'm just like trying to live my life the best I can, and also, setting an example, to the people, to the young girls like me, that wish they had a mentor, or wish they had someone guide them, through life, through this leadership journey. And I, for instance, like when I started, you know, uh, at Cacti, I actually started there because I felt that in my surroundings, in my circle, I was not seeing someone uh, that was, going on the path that I would like to go to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So when I applied to Cacti, it was like, I want to learn. I want to learn. I want to understand. I want to, gain skills and gain knowledge. And that's how I started my own journey. And after that, it was just like, moving a lot. I've been moving a lot, like from that leadership program to another leadership program. And I kept growing. You know what I mean? In each interaction that I've had this year, so I was so privileged to meet wonderful leaders, not only in Mandela, but even at Yali, at Wet Skills last year in South Africa. So, you get to be in these places that, you know, otherwise you wouldn't be if you're not taking that first step, which is apply. You know what I
The
mean?
initiative, yeah.
Apply. Yeah, the initiative. You know what I mean? You take the initiative, you go for it, sit at the table, speak up, listen. Very important. Listen, learn from others, network,
Mm-hmm.
gain as much knowledge and as much skills as you can. And, all of those opportunities that I had this year that definitely transformed me into a different individual, a wiser person, a more resourceful Evelyn. I'm definitely not the same Evelyn that I was, 1st January this year because of the different experiences that I've had, and the people that I've interacted with. I've learned so much, and and I'm now, I think, in a better position to share whatever it is that I've learned with people around me and beyond. I've had a lot of people reach out to me lately. They want to know about Mandela. They ask for help with their Mandela applications. People have asked for help for their even scholarship applications. But even, when I think about it, even those opportunities that I applied for and I didn't get them, they end up becoming a blessing because now I'm able to help others. They're gonna go on the same path. You know what I mean? Because I know how it's done. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
understand the process better, than they do. So even last night, I had someone DM me asking like, "Ha, I'm looking for scholarships to do this and that," and I was like,
Oh,
"Okay,
you got people in your DMs, girl. Okay.
you stop.
Okay.
That's just be serious."
Y'all hear that?
And
Slide in her
you know,
DMs. She responds to them. Slide
you
in
know,
them.
they're not serious. So and this guy is actually in the US, but he was telling me that he's working there. He was telling, but he's trying to do a master's in Europe because masters in the US are way expensive. They're way too expensive,
Tell me
and
about it. Tell
yes.
me about it.
And he has friends. He actually has a lot of friends there that are, drowning in student debt. You know what I mean? And he was like, he doesn't want to take that path. So, text,
what is student debt? At this point, I don't even know what student debt.
you know what I mean? Like student loans and things of that sort.
I don't know. What is that?
So
What is that? I don't know what's that. What is that? I don't know.
Look at you, just letting the world know that you're debt free. Okay,
I
text.
didn't say anything. I
Care for
just
you.
me. I didn't say anything like that. I just said what is that? What is that?
What is that? Like, I'm happy for you. I'm glad you're not in that position. But yeah, because I was like, okay, let's try and look for opportunities and things of that sort. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's been, and I also think now that I mentioned this, I think that maybe tax you could actually, you know, since you're already doing your masters there, maybe it could be a good resource to maybe other young people that might be looking, I don't know, for scholarships even in the US. I think you have.
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely be a resource in any way I can help. I'm actually thinking about getting a second master's as well. So, yeah, whatever way I can help out, you can lead them my way, and let them know I'm available, and whatever I can do, I'll definitely be able to do it. That's just me. So,
Yeah, okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
no problem, man. You already know how we do things here. So, your journey and insights are, truly enlightening. So now kind of to like wrap up everything, how would you describe yourself in 3 words?
Oh, thanks. Always doing it.
And a follow-up question on that is, how do these words represent different aspects of your personality or character?
Oh my gosh, let me just skip that one. But okay. Evelyn,
Talking in third
loving.
person.
You stop. Okay, Evelyn. As I said before, focused, Uh,
I
I
would definitely
love.
say I agree with the focus part because I have never heard somebody say, I have midterms next month, so now I am studying and I'm not available at all. I'm like, what?
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 No way.
That must take that takes a level of focus that I need to probably get to because god damn,
That's
buddy.
not true.
I
That's
study
not
for
true.
my exams maybe 2 days prior, 3 days prior. You're studying
That's
one
no,
month,
that's not true.
one
That's
month
not true.
ahead.
You're not telling the whole story. You're not telling the whole story.
Oh my god!
You're not. You're not
And then
mentioning.
what am I not mentioning?
You're not mentioning that I was late to my classes. You know what I mean? I was more than a month late to my classes, but now I have
That's
to
even another
catch
excuse of
up
why you shouldn't
everything.
study a month early. What?
I was late, and then the exams have been, let's say they're starting next 3 weeks or something of that sort. They were supposed to start in January after the Christmas holidays, but some professors are like, no, we're gonna start in December. So I need to like recover or revise all the things that I've been studying before I arrived in Italy. You know what I mean? And it's not little. Remember, I'm doing environmental engineering. So when you
remember
hear
this.
engineering,
Remember, when I hear engineering, it doesn't. That's not nothing else comes up. What I remember this.
mm.
Wax smarter, not harder.
Look at you! Look at
let the
you!
chicken hatch, but I will make sure it hatches under my tongue.
Oh God, no way. Text you just not serious. Let's go back. Now I'm gonna be the host. I'm gonna be the host. Let's go back. You continue this conversation after the podcast. Okay.
So
So
you said
Evelyn,
focus, okay,
yes, focused, loving, and resilient.
okay.
Okay.
Those are
Yes.
right. Yes. Okay.
Um, the resilient part is like, for me to be where I am today, and I was actually thinking about that in the past days. When I look at my journey, it wasn't like a bed of roses. It wasn't all easy, no, but I kept going through the challenges, through the hardships. You know what I mean? And those difficulties actually built my character and made me into this person that I am today. You know what I mean? I'm at a mental space where, because of this resilience, I'm not afraid of anything. I'm like, bring it on. You know what I mean? Like whatever comes my way, I know that I'm capable of facing it and overcoming it, right? And the focus, yeah, as I mentioned before, like I'm gonna set my goals. I'm gonna work tirelessly until I achieve them. The loving part, yes. People know me. I'm very. That's how I am. Like I care about people a lot. You know, some people even say way too much, but that's how I am. Like when I look at people, I feel like people deserve to be loved. Like I was loved first and foremost by God, and I feel like I have to love people around me as well. And
Amen.
being loved, you know, I think it should automatically make you as an individual to look for opportunities to also share the same love, with which you are loved with others, and be it in the form of, just being a caring person, being kind, being a nice friend, being a good, son or daughter, but just show love to people out there because the world is full of hate. You know what I mean?
Woo-wee. So
So
you
please,
couldn't even say it better.
yeah, let's be the light. Let's love people. A lot of people are hurting out there, and I try as much as possible to do that. So that's it.
Okay, and I definitely say those three words truly encapsulate your character. Um, and finally, now, If you were to be quoted on how to stay in true to yourself, what would you say?
Whew. Wow. Oh, that's not an easy one. But let me think about it. What would I say? Ooh. The problem, this one's gonna sound cliche, but this is what came to my mind right now, you know?
Say it, girl.
Okay, like she came, she saw, she conquered. That's
Woo! Say it again. Say it again.
she came, she saw, she conquered.
Wow. That's great. That's a great mantra to live by. And now thinking about your commitment to city, stay in true to yourself in a scale of like 1 to 10, how committed will you be to the aspect of what you just said? She came, she conquered, and I forgot the last word. I'm sorry.
10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
10. And what aspects of that resonate with you?
Like, I'm just gonna go get it. Like, whatever I do, I'm just gonna do it to the full of my potential. Like, I met during the sorry, I keep going back to Mandela, but it just was so intense. I met a very inspirational young leader, and you know he is just amazing. You know what I mean? He has all these accolades. He has met all these important people and things of that sort. But his journey, when you look at it, when he was telling me, like, when he was telling me the things he has been through in life text, and I
Mm.
looked, I was like, what? And I was like, and you still came out and you still survived? You know what I mean? And you're still here doing it big time, and you're here inspiring people, and doing all of this. But I saw in him the commitment, and the understanding that he has so much to give, and no matter what, he's gonna do it. You know what I mean? He's gonna impact the world positively. He's gonna help people in his community, in his country, and beyond. Like as we speak, like he did his, I think his masters in the UK, and then now he's doing his PhD, right? But at the same time, he's just this sought after speaker when it comes to environmental matters. You know what I mean? And he is my age. You know what I mean? Or our age, and he sits in all of these big boards, and he advises presidents and former presidents, you know what I mean, in environmental matters, and he's just determined, you know what I mean, and focused. He has made up his mind that it's gonna cause a positive impact. His voice is gonna be heard, and not just for his own benefit, but for the benefit of his community in general. And he lives with intention. He's very intentional about everything that he does. Every project that he lays his hands on. And I personally, after I spoke to him, I was like, you know what? When I grow up, I want to be like you. I want to
Wow.
be this intentional. I want to use my time wisely. I want to cause impact. Because if not, what are we doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are we doing? We need to have our why. We wake up in the morning, we set our goals, like go with our why, like it's bigger than us, it's bigger than ourselves, right? So
Yes.
yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome. Well, it's wonderful to have your commitment, and it's wonderful to just hear the moments that shape how your perspective and how you approach the nuances and complexities of just life. And lastly, if you could swap lives with someone for a day, who would it be,
Hey.
and what would you do? And what would you do? What would you do?
Ooh, why are you doing this to me, man?
I promise. That's the last question. I promise. The last question.
Ooh, man, there had to be someone that's a millionaire. Oh, someone is a millionaire, a billionaire. I'll just
Why it
take
gotta
the
be somebody
card,
that
just
got money? Why can't?
money. I'll just take the card, get on a private jet. I don't know. I'll be shopping because I love shopping. I know. I love to spoil myself. You know what I mean? I'll take myself where? Where would I take myself? I don't know. To some, I don't know, huge mall somewhere and just be shopping. Just, buying stuff, because I love shopping. Yeah, you can edit this part out, please. Please
No,
edit.
no, 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 no. I was gonna say for me, I was just thinking about that. The reason I was thinking about that, I was like, you ever just wonder, like, Gordon Ramsay, Chef Gordon Ramsay? Like,
Mm-hmm,
I would just like to kind of just do what he does sometimes. Like
mm-hmm.
when he's in the kitchen, he's like, "What the hell is this? What did you just cook?" And I kind of just
Yeah.
want to know what's going on. Like, what gets him that fired up to really critique and judge people's foods, and at the
Mm.
same time still eat it. I don't know. And then I don't know. That's just to me. I'd be like, I just want to see how that is because that's a very interesting things to just. That's what I would swap for just maybe like 6 hours just to see.
Wow. Okay,
well,
okay.
it's been fantastic, Evelyn. Thank you again for joining the City Stay and True to Yourself podcast. And to all our listeners out there, thank you for tuning in. Check her out. Follow her on all the platforms. You wanna plug yourself in on where people can find you on social media platforms.
Oh yeah, sure. LinkedIn. Serious stuff like Evelyn Andrea. Instagram for those of us who still have Instagram. It's like
I don't know why
Evie.
you're laughing at me.
It's like Eve underscore Evie underscore Andrea. And yeah, Facebook Evelyn Andrea. That's it pretty much.
Cool, cool,
Um,
cool.
Thank you
Awesome.
for having me, Tech. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed my time here.
I'm glad you did. It's been a long time coming, and don't be throwing no shade about me when it comes to social media. Um,
Ooh.
don't be trying to throw no shades.
Ooh.
We are in the real building process. Anyways, so
I think we're gonna change the name of this podcast. The
no, at all. The, the,
shade.
the name of the
The
podcast will stay.
shade.
This will stay the same. It will stay the same because we value authenticity here at
Oh,
City State and True to Yourself podcast. So to all the listeners out there and everybody out there, remember, embrace your authenticity, pursue your dreams, and seize the day with purpose and passion. And until next time, thank you all for listening. Peace out.